Welcome to QSecure Fireside Chats, a series of questions and answer interviews with QSecure employees. I'm Paul Fugner, QSecure's head of marketing and moderator of this series. Our goal is to export the human quotient that makes up QSecure, the vision, the mission, and the values that define our company. We're an innovative organization, and our DNA consists of a wide variety of talented and diverse people and perspectives. Today, our guest is Lori Sanzeri. Welcome to the show, Lori.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at QSecure, Lori?
Sure. I'd be happy to. I happen to be in our headquarters building, our beautiful headquarters at Franklin Templeton in San Mateo. It's a beautiful morning. I'm Lori Sanzeri, and I work in human resources. I do mostly talent acquisition, so sourcing, recruiting, onboarding, conducting new employee orientation. I'm responsible for all of our summer interns, recruiting, making sure they're having a good time. I also do benefits administration. So anytime someone in our company has a question about their medical or dental, or they want to switch something up, I'm the go-to person for that. I also have a fun part of my job, which is I get to design and order our company's swag. And I'm in charge of the company holiday event. So I have a varied work responsibilities.
Well, that's great, Lori. And I'm so excited to interview you today because you have a unique position. You are working in human resources, so you are dealing with what we want to talk about today. How do we export that human quotient within a technology company that is QSecure? And you have an advantage point where you see and you interact with people all across the company. So you have probably a pretty unique perspective. And as you mentioned, you're at our headquarters in San Mateo, California. I am based up in Northern California, north of the San Francisco Bay Area in Marin County, but we work in a distributed workforce. And as a human resources personnel, you deal with, as we all do, employees across the country. We have people in Florida, we have people in the Northeast, in New England, in New York, California, all over. Tell us a little bit about the QSecure culture and how it relates to a dispersed workforce.
Great question, Paul. Being a 100% remote startup could be a recipe for a disaster, but it's not here. We are in, I believe, 28 states. I might be 27 or 28 states. I'm so fortunate because I get to sort of interact with almost everybody for some reason. Maybe they want a couple new t-shirts, so I get to talk to them about that. Maybe they have a problem with their vision insurance, and I can help them with that. So you're right. I'm able to sort of touch everyone in some way, which is great in a 100% remote company. You know, it could be potentially lonely. It could be something that you don't feel connected, but QSecure is so lucky. Our people are definitely our biggest asset. And by saying our people, I mean the commitment to our mission. I mean the tenacity of our people, the work ethic. You know, the work ethic that our CEO fires us up every morning at our 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time call and fires us up, and everyone's so positive. It's definitely the people that are the biggest benefit here, and I'm lucky because I get to connect with most of them at some point.
Well, you're fortunate in that regard because you really do get to see how all the disparate pieces work and come together. And when you look at our Fed Ops team and our commercial team, there's a team that sits in the middle that has a challenging job very often, and that's engineering. Engineering is trying to satisfy so many different needs, wants, and desires from our customers as pushed through the public sector and the private sector lens at QSecure. And I think that one of the things I love about our company is that we recognize the need to have clear objectives, be aligned, and set the priorities and get to them. And the engineering team sits at the heart of that. They have to be able to satisfy customer needs across the commercial as well as the private sector segment. And I just pointed out and would love to hear your perspective on how that works, because at a lot of companies, One side may say, I need all of these resources from engineering, and the other side says, no, I need them. But we've been able to figure that out quite well as a startup with limited resources to be able to be very aligned and focused. Is there anything that comes to mind from you on why and how that happens?
A couple of things do, Paul. So we're a company of almost 80% engineers. We're basically a company of engineers. And those engineers work so hard. Imagine building something, spending weeks on it, and then finding out that, whoops, sales wants something else. Uh, and that happens all the time. Our leadership team in engineering is phenomenal across the board. Hardworking, dedicated, meeting their milestones. Um, they're a talented bunch. And I'm happy to say that a lot of those engineers were referrals and also were engineers that I went out and found. And not everyone is a good fit for this particular work environment. That's going to happen. And we have attrition. It's part of doing business. The great thing about QSecure, though, is that with our engineers being sort of the heart, it's just so easy to rally for them because of the people that they are.
Well, no, engineering is a challenging job, but I think that you hit the nail on the head. Our engineers are at the heart and soul of what's coming out. Not only their technical expertise, but their recognition of what we're trying to accomplish from a mission perspective. And anytime you talk to them, they don't lose sight of that. They're not just building something; they're building something for a purpose, and that
Mhm.
is what drives our organization. I think quite a bit. Well, Lori, let me ask you one other question. When you look at your tenure here at QSecure, do you have a moment that stands out? Maybe something that you're most proud of that you say, wow, that really represents what I love most about QSecure.
Well, this answer is probably going to be sound a little strange, but actually, my most proud moment was when we were having a company meeting, and I was here at headquarters in the office, kind of standing in a corner and watching people come in and meet each other for the first time. Even though they'd been on calls for months, they'd been in meetings for months. They're communicating email, Teams chat, Slack, text, phone calls. Meeting in person was, especially for a human resources person, was fascinating. And I remember two moments. Uh, one, two engineers were meeting for the first time, and one said to the other, "Oh, look, we have the same shoes on." And then another person said to one of our program managers, "Wow, you're so tall." And I was just standing back watching this social experiment, knowing that we all have the same motivation and drive, but we had never met in person. And that there was a lot of hugs and handshakes, and that's definitely my most proud moment because I work in people, and that was definitely a people moment.
I love that story, Lori, and I can appreciate it because the first time I went into the office, I saw some people that just threw me back. I didn't expect them to be tall or short or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
And your comment about, handshakes and hugs, that is truly exporting the human quotient because you're physically, contacting somebody. And people literally and figuratively, I think, embrace that at QSecure and giving
I
a firm
agree.
handshake or even a nice strong hug um, is an indication of even though we're a dispersed workforce that we truly do come together. Yeah, and I think that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks, Paul.
Lori, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's been a great pleasure chatting with you, learning a little bit more about you, what you do at QSecure and the company itself. And for all of our viewers out there, I want to thank you for tuning in to Fireside Chats with QSecure. We are a podcast series that you can find on YouTube. You could also find us on our LinkedIn page if you want to join the QSecure community. And go to our LinkedIn page, please follow us and look for our posts. And you can always go to our website if you're interested in learning more about us or even potentially seeing a demo for our company. We're happy to do that. And with that, I will sign off and say thank you for joining us from QSecure. Until next time, this is Paul Fugner with Fireside Chats.
Catch new episodes every other week. Follow QSecure Fireside Chats on YouTube and all major podcast streaming platforms.